Phoenix Suns go on the road, lose again. 2-5. 2-5 on the road is this team. Definitely not the same Phoenix Suns as last year, Matthew. A team that was road dominant, the best road team in the NBA. No, this year they take a quick one-game road trip up to Utah and lose 134 to 133 to the Utah Jazz. Shit.
It's like a team that they know like a trade's coming. I feel like everyone's playing and just kind of ignoring it. They're like, oh, we talked about it behind the scenes. Like something's going to happen. So let's just get through these games. We win them. If not, we lose them. But we're going to get someone special to help us this year. That's what it seems like the way they're playing. Because, Booker obviously comes into this game. He wants to win, right? It's a Utah team that's kind of hot. They lost 3 in a row, but they're like the team to beat kind of out west. So I just think that Booker really came in there, just wanted, to fucking win this game. But the rest of the team looked good, man. It's just that Utah team made some crazy fucking shots towards the end, too.
Yeah, well, there's that. And I just think that, this team just kind of took a while to get their footing. And it's kind of this reoccurring theme with the Phoenix Suns where they come out and they just kind of look flat on the road. They don't go out there. And that might be the Chris Paul effect, right? Like that might be Chris Paul, somebody who gets them ready, gets them up for every game. So when the tip happens, they're instantly engaged. And in this game, before you know it, they're down like 19-3. They're down 19 points in the first quarter. And then you can see Devin Booker's like, okay, it's gonna be May.
Yeah, but they didn't get into like a 3-point competition. They kind of just went to the rim, played their game. They got back in it, man. Just couldn't. They took the lead once, right, with the 3. And then as soon as Booker came back in, then it was kind of, they couldn't get it back. So let's do this, dude.
Let's do this. Another podcast. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. We go live after every Phoenix Suns game, win or lose, and that's why we're here on a Friday night, kicking it with you, talking about another Suns loss on the road. Make sure you follow the show at Suns Jam on Instagram, Twitter, and the TikTok. Make sure you follow Matthew on Twitter. If it still exists tomorrow. Make sure you follow me at Darth Voida, and you can read all of my writing at brightsideofthesun.com, which, Matthew, I will say, was once again covering the game tonight for Bright Side of the Sun.
I know.
I am 0-4 this season. 4 times I've had to cover the Suns. 4 times they've lost. It's really shitty writing those recaps for Brightside when it's just like, oh, shit, we're down 19 in the first. Fucking, this is going to be great.
It always comes back to your prediction, though, of them only winning 13 games, you said? Was it 13 games?
No. I said
13 and 55
was going to be 49 and 33 was my final prediction.
Yeah.
And I think we're kind of like right on path. Yeah, that's my penance for being the one person who didn't have the Suns winning like 60 games this season. I picked them to pick 49, and now every time I cover them, they lose. And it's really, really annoying. So I'm going to pop open a nice Oso Brewery Lemon Raspberry Popsicle Blonde. Matthew's probably going to have water.
Yep.
Happy Friday night. So pop them if you got them, Suns fans. It really was an entertaining game. I will say that. But plenty to talk about on this edition of Suns Jam Session podcast. So cheers. It was one of those nights for the Phoenix Suns, man. One of those nights where they were constantly, obviously being down 19 points in the first quarter, constantly battling back uphill, finally taking the lead, as you mentioned, 121 to 120, ultimately losing 134 to 133. But that brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Matthew, I'll ask you on this one. Again, what did we learn tonight?
Lauri Markkanen is an MVP candidate. For sure. 21-8 coming into this game, making Dirk-like moves. As soon as he made that last shot, I was like, Dirk? And then Kevin Ray's like, Dirk Nowitzki? And I was thinking too, I'm like, dude, is it Lauri Whiteman Yama? Like, I swear that guy is as big as like Manyama, like whatever. Like
Who's your
seriously,
mama?
he's like 8 feet tall out there, man. I forget how big he is, making shots like that, doing everything, the passing, cutting, everything. It was insane. I've never seen him play like that. This is the first time I watched the Jazz this year, so I was interested to see the whole thing.
Well, I'll say this: nobody's ever seen him play like that, like just period. And
Till this season, right?
Well, part of the reason why is because tonight Lauri Markkanen went out and he scored a career high 38 points against the Phoenix Suns. So nobody's ever seen him play like that. It's got to be painful for all the U of A fans. I'm sure there's plenty of University of Arizona basketball fans who know Lauri Markkanen, saw him play down in Tucson, get drafted. Who drafted him initially?
It was the Wizards, right? Wasn't he on the Wizards?
I don't remember who drafted him.
I just had him up. It is the Bulls. Sorry,
Bulls. That's
Cleveland.
right.
Yeah,
The Bulls. Then he went to
Wizards.
Cleveland and kind of be irrelevant in with Chicago. Couldn't get it together. Was somebody who they thought would start right off the bat. Then he was kind of coming off the bench. He wasn't effective. Went to Cleveland. Had some flashes in Cleveland. Somebody who we definitely in the offseason were talking about being a trade target for the Phoenix Suns. He ends up in Utah following the Donovan Mitchell trade. And what much akin to yourself, Matthew, it's the first time I've watched the Jazz play. It's the first time I've seen Lauri Markkanen play probably since his U of A days. And the dude's fucking chiseled, man. He's like a
Greek god.
Yes, he's like a Greek god out there, just like chiseled and doing whatever he wants. And, one of the things that I noticed as I was hanging out on, not only am I writing the recap for Bright Side of the Sun, but I was hanging out on the Jazz subreddit as well for the subreddit stakeout tonight. And one of the things that their fans were constantly saying is like, wow, Lauri looks great. Can't wait for the Utah Jazz to just negate his existence in the second half, because typically I guess that's what happens with him is he has a great first half, which he did tonight. He went out and he had 18 points on 7 of 9 shooting in the first half. But in the second half, same thing. He came out and he was just unbelievably effective to end the game. He ended up shooting in this game a godlike 15 of 18 from the field. He was 2 of 3 from deep. He was 6 of 8 from the free throw line. I swear this guy has had more and ones in this game than Devin Booker's had all season, Matthew.
He might have. He looks so like free flowing out there. He's like a cloud, just like kind of just through the lane, like effortlessly. A lot of the stuff that he was throwing up there looked good. Like it didn't look before he came to the Jazz. I feel like every time I watched him, he looked like such a stiff. Yes. He was a guy that sat out there, shoot the three-pointer and didn't really know how to dribble. It was just a weird looking dude out there. And we all thought it was basically over for him as a starter in the NBA. Like everyone did, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, I wanted the Suns to get him because I saw something in him. I'm not saying that it was this good. It just seemed like a guy that's a backup power forward that can come in. Great. But he's playing small forward too. It's like listed as a small forward, so I don't know what that is. But everything he does out there, dude, it's basically cutting to the basket. He's finding guys at the rim, dumping these little dump offs where he just finds dudes. He's just like, here, take it. There you go. Like easy shit for him. He looks like all his acne's gone. Everything. He looks fucking fantastic.
He's a man, dude.
He is basically an elite right now, drinking that baby blood because he looks good and he couldn't miss a shot. A lot of those shots, dude, were really difficult shots.
They were tough,
and it was his night for sure.
It was a high degree of difficulty, and I definitely think that the Suns, to their credit and to Devin Booker's credit primarily, they did a great job keeping themselves in this game. But again, when you're hitting those crazy shots, it's like there's just nothing you can do. But I think we should start with the performance of Devin Booker.
Big Dick Booker.
I mean, homeboy's back is going to be killing him on that plane ride home from Salt Lake City. 16 of 31 shooting. He was 2 of 9 from beyond the arc, especially in that fourth quarter. He threw up a couple threes that were just kind of possession killers, and they didn't go in. But 49 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds for Devin Booker. He only had 1 turnover in this game. He was just masterful. And what I noticed as I was watching this game early on, again, the Suns came out, and it's not like they got punched in the face. It's like someone punched them in the face, and while they were going to grab their nose because it hurt, somebody sack tapped them. And that's what the entire team looked like. They're just like, oh, what the they didn't know what to feel. And Devin Booker looked like a guy who's when somebody goes to sack tap you and they miss, and you give them that look like, dude, fucking A, grow up. and B, don't touch my wang. Like that's what Devin Booker's. That's the look he had in his face. Is he was like locked in, dead serious. And I tweeted it out early, and it's fun. It's funny because it almost came true. I'm like, here we go. Devin Booker's going to pull a Stephen Curry. He's going to put up 50 points in a loss. I was off by 1 point.
You were off by 1 point, and the sack tap thing, you just got to suck it in time. You got to whoop, and whoop. Then it's they miss every time. Booker, though, he just wanted to kill these guys. Like there was a certain look in him where he was just on fire in this game. But the thing is, like, I always get nervous still where, they're down by like almost 20 points in the first quarter. I'm like, dude, don't start chucking threes. And they didn't. Like Booker really led that offense to the free throw line. Like he was 11-11 from the free throw line, but he made sure to get to the free throw line. Like he was drawing contact. A lot of the guys on the team were doing that, including Cameron Payne in the second quarter. But Booker started that. They weren't like all their shots were in the paint, dude. What were they? Oh, really quick in the first quarter, they were actually 20 to 10 points in the paint. So like if you're down by that much, you would think like, hey, let's get these threes, right? Any team would just kind of like have that 3-point contest where it's just like, we got to get this game close. Let's freak out. But the Suns didn't. They just played their game. I think Booker did such a good job that it just shows his maturity where he was just so calm. And the rest of them kind of felt that from him. I feel like just calm. I mean, DA maybe a little bit too much, but just like chill out and like, we're going to get back into this game. And they did. They played their game. They got back in, but it started with Book, man, 39 points going into the fourth. And that it's such a good game. But this is crazy because I think the thing that is nuts is Steph Curry from last game got 50 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Book is so close to getting those extra shots where you're just like, oh my fucking God. Like, like Steph Curry where he just hits those shots like the fifth one in a row. You're like, are you fucking kidding me? Book's close to that, but he can never get that one. Like he hit 2 to end the third, 2 threes, tie ball game.
And then he had that like wide open jumper and it's just like,
and he misses that one. And that's always the one he like fucking
what
great
he needed.
Game. But I'm just saying that's a shot that's like different from him and like a Steph Curry's because Curry hits those. I'm not saying like fuck you, Book, or anything like that. It's like great game. But I'm just saying, like, that is what everyone is so, like, best offensive player ever, Steph Curry, because he always hits those.
Yes.
And Book always comes so close, and you're like, he's going to miss this. He's tired going into the fourth. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then he comes back, and he can't really hit a shot. But then he struggles to almost get 50, and then they still lose. Like, he's so close to being that guy. Kind of like a Steph, but never be as good of a shooter, but just to get on those little fire rounds.
No one will. Yeah, those heat checks. The way that Steph Curry, we had a front row seat to it. And like you said on the last pod, like it's fun to sit back and watch a great Steph game knowing that you're going to beat him because it's just, it's art form is what it is. It's seeing the way that he makes those things. And you're right. Like Devin Booker, the challenge that he had is he was so gassed going into that fourth. Like he played the entire third. He played the first 3 minutes of the fourth. Monty Williams finally pulled him out because he was gassed in the fourth, dude. Like his jumper, the legs weren't there anymore. On defense, he slacked off on a couple defensive sets because he's just gassed. So he pulled him out of the game. And then Cameron Payne goes out and scores a quick 5 points. And then Damian Lee does, I think he hit the 3. And then Booker was right back in. I mean, I'm still waiting for NBA.com to finalize the scorebook. They still don't have it done for some reason. But I'd be interested to see what his second half minutes are because it must be, of the 24 minutes, Booker must have played like 23 of them. I mean, he did everything and gave everything he could for this team to try to get them a victory tonight. And like, that's what sucks is you wasted. It was just like last game, right? Like we wasted a really good Torrey Craig game. And we did it again tonight, by the way. Torrey Craig had another amazing game tonight. We'll talk about him momentarily. Yeah. But you waste those games in losses. And that's the frustrating thing. Is when Torrey Craig has a great game and Devin Booker has a 49-point game, like you want those to be the dubs. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of feel bad because he is so exhausted and the rest of the team is too, because I feel like a lot of them just played super hard out there because you have to, especially when the Jazz are just making every shot and
every goddamn
getting to the rim. Getting to the rim was really easy. So I think a lot of it was Booker's defense was like really almost A+ too, where he had to try on that end, trying to grab rebounds, all of that. Like he was just everywhere. So putting down an effort and like, I think he was only out for like 1 minute in the fourth.
Yeah.
And then he came right back in. And I didn't mind him going into the fourth. It's fine because I feel like kind of keep that momentum a little bit.
100%.
But then it was just like you saw how tired he was and how it was hurting the team. And then he came out and then the team kind of got back in the game and then he came back in. So I kind of like that. It's just he was hurting the team a little bit because he was just so exhausted.
Yeah, and again, it's because you didn't know if anybody could step up in his stead. And that's the challenge is, but Cameron Payne showed that he could. Deandre Ayton started to show that he could in that second half.
Watch.
Deandre Ayton this evening, a tale of two halves. He was 7 of 12 from the field. He had 10 boards, 5 on each side, 5 offensive, 5 defensive, had 8 assists, a career high 8 assists, mind you, and 17 points. So 17, 10, and 8 for DA. 3 blocks in this game, too. And it was really interesting because I was pretty frustrated with his performance in the first half. I feel like it was kind of the typical narrative that you and I have been talking about relative to Deandre Ayton, where there's not a lot of engagement. There's not a lot of rolling hard to the rim on the offensive or defensive end, not actively seeking out opportunities to try to get rebounds for the team on either end. And it was really hurting the Suns in the first half because the Jazz were doing that. They were attacking the rim. They were trying to get those second chance points. And they were being successful at it. I mean, you take a look and they outscored the Phoenix Suns in second chance points in the first half because, DA wasn't boxing out. His position was really bad. And I was having kind of, again, I was in a text thread with the Fan of the Flames guys. And I was like, dude, fuck DA, man. Like, I'm getting pissed again, and then the second half came and he just completely flipped the script. And it's, the way that he was attacking on offense, there was a play where he went in there and he actually, like, with Kelly Olynyk on him, he just kind of he pushed him out of the way. I'm like, yeah, fucking push him out of the way.
Oh,
you could do
that
this.
Easy.
Yeah. And now your floating jumper that you like to take that you're normally taking from 6 feet, it's 2 feet away. And he's blocking motherfuckers and he's running, he's sprinting, he's getting those dunks in transition. It's like everything that we wanted from DA, we saw in that second half. And I thought it was highly impressive. And again, it gives me hope, Matthew. It gives me hope.
Yeah, I don't know really where to start. It's just I have to take my glasses off for this one. I just that Olynyk thing. I love how you brought that up because that was the one play where I'm like, dude, if you do this in the first half, you're an issue. You're a problem. You're a total problem.
Yeah.
The rebounding in the first half. Oh my God, there was a shot of Chris Paul and how he just looks so sad and just the pain in his eyes. Like it was a tweet I sent out.
Yeah.
Where he's just looking on and basically. He's like, are you fucking like Ayton is posing on closing out on the perimeter while he can get back and grab a rebound. He's standing there.
Yeah.
You saw Book good on
like he's a guard.
Yeah, it's like he just shot a 3 to win a game and he's posing, but he's posing on a closeout. He did that over and over again where he would just stand by the perimeter. He does that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the offense in the first quarter. It was kind of nice just to have Ayton out of the way. It's just like, to get back into the game. Let's just play our game. Kind of just ignore him in a little bit. He didn't get his touches, which is fine. He'll get them eventually. But he was just standing there a lot and watching again. Then in the second half, man, he started to run the floor more. He started actually on fast breaks. He had the 2 fast break dunks, which are awesome. You always want your big man because he's a big man that can run. He can do that. He can get out. He can definitely just sneak by people and hit in those lanes. Defensively, though, dude, he had those big blocks towards the end.
Massive.
The thing is, like, if he plays this way and he is just this good defensively and he's this good offensively where he backs down a dude, gets closer to the rim, he doesn't have to take those long ass jump hooks, then this game is a win. It's not an easy win. It's just a win. It slows down the game. It just means more because these guys are like busting their ass out there all game long. Juice busting his ass. Mikal Bridges, whatever you guys want to say defensively, I don't give a fuck. He was playing hard. Like when you see DA out there not giving a shit, I don't care how he thinks he looks and how he thinks he feels. When you watch him and he's not giving a shit, that is the worst part because you're playing a Utah team that wants to beat you. There's a sellout crowd Friday night and the Suns are there. Utah wants to kick their ass. You guys got to come out and punch them. And DA was just miserable out there to watch. If it wasn't for the second half, I was just thinking in my head, I'm like, this dude just knows he's going to, like, in a month get traded or whatever. And that's what I was just thinking the whole time in the first half, dude. It was so annoying to watch him. I hated it.
Well, and like Jeff F says in the chat, he says DA had no touches in the first half. It was criminal. He did have touches. He had what, 6 assists in the first half, 5 assists. So
I'm done doing this.
He was passing out of them. Effectively too, because the guys were knocking him down. So they were trying to run some offense through him, and again, passive DA not having that aggression, he's going to pass out of it. And tonight, his teammates helped him out by hitting some of those shots.
Exactly.
In the second half, something happened at halftime. Devin Booker was, so Coach Evan B, our good friend from the He's on Fire's podcast, he was actually at the game because he lives locally in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And one of the things I saw him tweet out, he goes, during the first half, he's like, after every defensive play, the team is yelling at DA because his position in the first half defensively was just piss poor. The effort wasn't there. He was watching the ball. He wasn't attacking the ball. But again, in the second half, you saw that shift. And you saw him attack the ball. You saw him try to find positioning. You saw him, again, take the ball to Kelly Olynyk. And entering this game, as I wrote the preview for this game, that was one of my concerns, was Kelly Olynyk is one of those guys who is high energy, right? He's like a roided out, horse-faced looking Lou Odmanson. And those guys can give DA a problem because DA likes to stand and watch there. While you're standing and watching, they're getting under you. They're grabbing the rebounds. And had Kelly Olynyk not had such foul trouble, he probably would have had a higher rebound total than he ultimately had in this game. But again, he was in foul trouble. A lot of the Jazz were in foul trouble. I mean, Mike Conley, Kelly Olynyk both had 5. Jared Vanderbilt, who went for 6 points but had 11 boards and 8 assists, he actually fouled out in this game. But they were a lot of guys, and that's who this Jazz team is they're a high-energy, very active team at all times. Whereas the Suns, as we've mentioned before, on these games in the road, for some reason, it's like they're just waiting to get sack tapped a couple times before they finally kind of like wake up and be like, okay, let's start playing basketball. And Devin Booker's will be like, come on, guys, come follow me. This is what energy's like. And like, I don't know what the team needs to do on the road, but like whoever the equipment manager is or whoever's in charge of beverages, like just start giving these guys some fucking Red Bulls, like 30 minutes before the game. And all of a sudden they'll come out and have that, and they'll match the energy of the opposition.
Well, the thing is, like in the beginning of the game, when the Utah Jazz were hitting those shots, like the closeouts on the threes, there was no one there contesting. And like DA didn't start contesting on the perimeter until the second half, really. He didn't start coming out until maybe after the first time out. It was either the first time out or the second half. I remember like it was the first time out. Excuse me. That's way too far ahead. Then he started actually playing some perimeter defense. So they did come out and they were just kind of just like whatever. And Utah was just knocking everything down. Back to DA a little bit, just like there's certain layups too where he's by the rim and he's doing the kindergarten layups and he gets blocked from behind.
Yeah, those just, hey guys, I'm gonna come up with.
He does the two-handed layups. It's like, what do you like? Just dunk it like you're right there, obviously,
or go up with one hand with the ball and the other one right here to protect anyone coming in, so you can fend them off.
Yeah, and there's only like one play he has too that's unlocked. So in 2K, if he's a player, you only have one player or one kind of like unlocked move. It's kind of like just like a back down really quick and then just turn to one side and do a jump hook or else do like a fadeaway shot. That's all he has.
Yeah.
He doesn't like, there's times where he gets the ball and he does get possessed. He does touch the ball. When he gets it and he has room on one side to either roll or do a spin or something, he doesn't do it. He goes like the opposite way. Like he needs to feel where the defense is and he never does. Like,
but you have to be physical to do that, right?
Yeah, you do. But the thing is, like, everyone's talking about John Collins. We're not going to probably get him.
No,
but I was just watching highlights because I'm like, oh, let me just see like how he was last year because I didn't really see how he was playing. Like you can even see him like on a lot of plays where he gets the ball, he feels like where the defense is and isn't. He'll roll to that side and like quick dunk. A lot of these guys that are defending down there, they're not quick. Exactly. And I think DA is, if he had something in him to where he's like, all right, if I turn this way, there's going to be some room there to do something. He just doesn't do that. And he never will. So
I think that's such a great observation. It really is because he is quicker. He is more athletic than the majority of these like big hog mollies down there in the paint.
Yeah.
For some reason, you know, he thinks that he's going against somebody who's got the quickness of a Jordan Clarkson or a Dame Lillard or somebody who's just like insanely fast and is going to steal the ball for him. So when he gets the ball, the first thing he does is turn and jump hook. And like as he's turning, that's when he's looking at the rim for the first time and trying to key it up. Where it's like if you do a couple back downs and like you said, feel the defender, and that's what he did on that one play against Olynyk. He got the ball, he bounced once, he felt him out, and he's like, okay. When I put my shoulder kind of into his chest, guess what he did? He moved backward.
He can't stop him.
I can go back up again with his quickness, and it was an easy
Yeah.
play, and it was just like it sucks so bad that there's like one play, and you're like, that's it. That's all you have to fucking do.
And we still do this shit, dude.
It could be 26 points a game if you did that.
Yeah.
You're this close, dude. You're
His
this
stats,
close.
and I'm not even a stats guy, and his stats tonight, he almost had a triple double. But I don't
Yeah.
even I don't even care. Like if he would have played the way he played in the second half all game, and like he just came out with 12 and 6. Let's just say 12 and 6 because he couldn't grab the boards, but he was helping on the boards. Just 12 and 6, but the hustle, everything he was doing, like it looked good. It was nice. I loved it. I don't care about the stats because he could have the 24 tonight if he were just backing down. And Olynyk flops all the time, man.
Oh,
that guy he's a flopper. You can push him around.
Yeah, he's a guy who, again, he's a horse-faced.
Whoa.
He looks like he has the face.
Yeah,
of a
everyone looks
horse.
like an animal. I'm a turtle. I don't know what you are. I forget.
A bat. I'm supposed to be a bat, which I don't really
No,
agree
that's
with.
okay. I think we do this all the time.
Am I bat? No, I'm a hamster.
Yeah, you're a hamster. Yeah, there you go.
I think. Do you know what Deandre Ayton's animal is?
Sloth.
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
It's been a while.
What's up?
Torrey Craig in this game. 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. Just looked really good again out there. I think that, the way that he played in like 3 or 4 games, like he's really starting to solidify himself in my heart, as I mentioned before. But he's been playing so stellar as of late. And I just, again, shout out to the juice. The juice is loose. He gets those boards because a lot of what's happened is Deandre Ayton, he's out of position. And Torrey Craig's realizing he's like, shit, there's a huge opportunity to go grab some boards because DA ain't going to grab them all the time.
yeah, and I think I get confused because the way Juice is playing down there, I think it's DA sometimes. I'm like, is he as big as DA? Because the way he
His
grabs those boards and stuff, I'm like, yeah, his shoulders are. I'm like, wait, that's not DA. It's Juice. He's just like in there. He's just always in the right spot. He's always there. I'm trying to think of like a new nickname, kind of just like I don't even. I know I love Juice, but I'm just saying like something on the court
everywhere.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity, dude. He is seriously everywhere on the court. And those rebounds though are something else. But those threes, man, like it's just automatic. Like he even stepped into one like head on towards the rim and it went in. Like, you know what I mean? He took one where he was covered and it was like a step back 3 for a buzzer beater at the shot clock violation or 24 seconds shot clock. And I thought it was going to go in. Like I'm that confident in him shooting it. So he can basically do a lot out there. I don't think he's really still a starting power forward, obviously, but
Yeah.
He's 100% right now.
Yeah, and that's what sucks so bad because if Cam Johnson was here, Juice is coming off the second team, and he could be that person who's filling that role. But you take a look at how he played tonight. He was 3 of 5 from beyond the arc. The rest of the team was 6 of 25. I mean, Juice was the only guy who was stroking the 3 ball. He should have shot it 4 more times, man. Could have greatly assisted this team tonight. He was it went Booker with 49, Campaign and DA both had 17, and he had 16. It's like, you're getting that from Torrey Craig. Again, those are bonus points in my opinion. He is your 5th option on offense as a starter, and he's getting you 16 points. You got to take advantage of those.
Yeah, and also the play he made where he forced it was like 4 Jazz defenders going for the board. Juice comes in there, has no chance to get the board, but goes in there and tips the ball, but then it goes off a Jazz player, goes out of bounds. The Suns ball again. So it's basically an offensive rebound. Booker gets the ball, hits or misses the 3, but gets fouled. So it's 3 points. Yeah. And that helped us really even make it a game towards the end. Yeah. Plays like that, that's where we get fresh with DA because DA will still just stand out there. If he were to go in there and just fucking push some guys around, not foul them, but get in there like a mosh pit, do something, it helps extend the play maybe. And that's what Juice does.
Well, those are the hustle plays, right? I mean, you need those guys who create, Campaign's one of those guys who just, he creates more opportunities for you because he hustles. I'll tell you what was probably the most annoying play of the game was that like triple offensive rebound where they couldn't put in a fucking layup, and you go down on the other end and it's just like a dunk by Markkanen. You're like, oh, cool, that's and that like right there. I'm like, I think I wrote it in the recap. I'm like, it's just one of those nights. It's just one of those nights.
Yeah,
nothing's gonna go right for the Phoenix Suns. Again. If you're joining the podcast, you can tell this ain't the end of the world for the Phoenix Suns. Right, it's the 15th game of the season or whatever. We got a shit ton more to go. It's nice to pick up these W's, but ultimately, some nights in the NBA, it's just not your night. And tonight, it wasn't one of those nights. And again, when you have people like Torrey Craig playing the way that he did and you lose it, it's just like, oh man, it kind of sucks. It just kind of sucks.
I know. Booker wants it so much.
Oh, I know. Well, you can see it with his effort. Kiko says, put a rank of Olynyk on the most punchable face. Where would you put him on your most punchable face? I don't think he's the most. Hey, 0. He's like, is the most punchable face on the Jazz? And I'm sure he answered that. But in my opinion, Kelly Olynyk isn't even the best one on the team.
Trying to think who is. It's not Clarkson. It might be Clarkson.
For me.
Is it Clarkson?
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't say Clarkson is because I didn't think it was because the Suns. A lot of Suns fans want him. They want him on this team, so I wasn't thinking.
Yeah,
that
I'm not the biggest Clarkson guy. I'm really not.
He looked really good tonight, though, right? He has that big shot, that turnaround shot.
Moments. Yeah, that turnaround shot was nice.
He's a big moment guy.
The issue I have with Clarkson is he's kind of a black hole, in my opinion. He's a great second team guy because of that reason. Because you can be a black hole on offense and be successful, but he reminds me kind of Kelly Oubre. He gets the ball, like, okay, I'm going to dish it over to Clarkson. That's the last time anyone on this possession seen it other than Jordan Clarkson. And there's nothing wrong with that. You take a look. He had 20 points tonight. He wasn't horrible. He was 8 of 16 from the field, 2 of 6 from beyond the arc. He had 3 assists, 2 rebounds, a turnover. So nothing crazy. But he's just one of those players who's just like, it sucks because I don't want to say him like, well, I don't know if he's a player who really contributes to winning basketball because he's played for the Jazz. He's gone to multiple playoff trips, and this is a team that's surprising everyone now with their 11-6 record. So, that would be a false statement to say that. I don't know if it meshes with kind of what Phoenix has, in my opinion.
No, I think because of everything that we can get, that would be disappointing now if we were to bring in Clarkson. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's bigger fish out there for the Phoenix Suns to kind of capture. Other than Jordan Clarkson. But Kelly Olynyk, I wouldn't necessarily he has a punchable face. He's the kind of guy I'd like to trip.
So
he's
trip him.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy like you walk behind him and you're just like, fuck this guy. And you kick the back of his foot right as he's walking and he hits the other one.
You step on the back of his shoe and his shoe comes off?
No. You don't give him a flat tire. He's not a flat tire giver.
Is that a flat tire?
You kick his shoe right as he's stepping and then it makes you cross over and you trip over yourself. Yeah, if you got little brothers, that's what you do to him.
I was like, I don't think I've ever done that to anybody.
Jeff F is Olynyk is the kind of guy you push downstairs.
Okay, well, first is he in a wheelchair first before you push him down the stairs?
No, that's what happens afterwards. That's what happens.
Oh, afterwards. Okay,
yeah, you gotta.
Well, I guess if you're in a wheelchair, you're not upstairs. So, unless there's an elevator.
Well, you might be. I don't know.
It's America.
We're going off the rails.
Here comes the pain.
As mentioned before, 17 points by Cameron Payne, 6 of 12 from the field. He had 5 assists, 3 steals in this game. Again, another guy who brought high energy. He was part of that third quarter in which the Phoenix Suns and Monty Williams kept the starters in until the 4-minute mark. When Cameron Payne got his 4th foul, that's when he finally took the starters out. They played 8 minutes in an effort to try to come back against the Utah Jazz. And ultimately, the Suns did outscore the Jazz 39-33 in that period. But Cameron Payne again is getting the start because Chris Paul is still out. Are you worried at all about Chris Paul being out, or are you worried at all about the performances that Cam Payne has been giving us?
No, I think Cam Payne's been awesome.
Yes.
Even if he were to have a shitty game next game and then like a mediocre the next, I feel like we're getting so much out of these bench players where it's like it's more than we expected. I feel like for them to come in and fill those shoes.
Yeah.
And even if Chris Paul comes back, this team's not championship contenders to status. Even with Cameron Johnson, I think of it in that way. I'm like, even if we get these guys back, I don't know if we can go on a championship run. I think we can get kind of decently far in the playoffs, maybe second round or something. But I don't feel it with this team yet. So if you're just talking about right now, it's like, all right, well, if you get Chris Paul back, we're going to get some more wins in the season. Yeah, we will. We probably would have won this game if we had Chris Paul, obviously. He's still, I just think that valuable. I think that Chris Paul really gets a bad rap of being just so old, but I still think he makes such a big difference on this team, man. Yeah, but
old balls. Sorry. Well, the thing that's great for Cameron Payne and for Torrey Craig right now is the reps that they're getting, because ultimately they're going to have an opportunity at the back end of the season where their confidence, in theory, should be sky high. And they're really going to perform well for this team because they're getting a lot of this playing time and they're taking advantage of it. You know, it's one thing to go out there like Cam Payne last year when he filled in for those Chris Paul minutes when he was out with was it the wrist injury or the thumb injury? I forget what the injury was, but it was something hand related. And he played really bad. You know, and ultimately it hurt his confidence. And then you go into the playoffs and you start guessing yourself. And next thing you know, you're losing at home in Game 7. Where I think the minutes that he put forth tonight were, again, solid minutes. He really picked up the pace, you know, and he helped that team get back in. Once Devin Booker was out of the game, he's like, all right, I'm taking over real quick. And that's exactly what he did. Is he straight up just took over the game, did a really good job of keeping this team engaged, moving the ball around, getting it popping. You know, 5 assists, well done by Cam Payne. So between him and Torrey Craig, I think these minutes have been unbelievably valuable. I just, you know, it'd be nice to get some of those old balls back out on the court.
Yeah, definitely. And there is actually, so we are missing, Melissa Moore to say, does anybody know if Shamet is okay?
Yeah, he got pushed down the stairs.
Man, he got pushed and he's now he's in a wheelchair. I think he's in a wheelchair in the dark corner somewhere. Ready for a trade.
Concussion protocol. Right, I mean, I don't really know what happened. Yeah, I mean, it's only been like 2 or 3 games. It might have been.
Kelly Olynyk kicked him in.
Kelly Olynyk, yes. Horseface Kelly Olynyk kicked him in the head. See, what happens if you walk behind Kelly Olynyk and you go to kick him in the foot and you miss, he kicks you, but he kicks back like a donkey.
You try to change his shoe, then he kicks you.
Yeah, then bam. Yeah, you don't try to change his shoe, you know. Bees, this podcast went dark real quick.
What was dark?
I don't know, just kicking Kelly Olynyk in the head. I'll tell you what wasn't dark, though, was the performance of this guy.
The Saric smoke break.
Dude, Matthew, without looking at the statistics, did you look at the stats?
Too late, yeah.
I was going to say, how many rebounds did he have tonight?
He had 6.
He had 6 rebounds.
And did.
And that big booty hit the floor, and I was like, let the booty hit the floor. Let the booty hit the floor. Like, Dario was out there giving us some really quality minutes there for a couple runs in this game. And it was just it was nice to see him. I didn't realize he had grabbed 6 fucking rebounds. Jesus Christ. He needs to give a masterclass on how to position that big ass down in the lane for DA.
Oh yeah, sign right up. You know, Gilbert Community College. I think they actually had that 4-credit class. So.
Yeah, 4 credits though. It's 4 credits. You have to earn that mofo.
You only have to show up once. It doesn't take that long to learn. So the thing is, I didn't even know he was in the game till he made that cut to the basket from Book, and Book finds him on that little layup, and then he draws a foul and he falls on his ass. So yeah, for the and one. Where is Bismack though? Like, I don't understand. What does Monty only play Bismack when he wants, like, okay, come in and get 2 blocks in 2 minutes and then you're out of here? I feel like that's the only time we see Bismack. So I don't. When I saw Sarge, I was thinking of Bismack.
I think what he's doing right now is at the front end of the season with Dario Saric, he felt he probably wasn't ready from a conditioning standpoint, even though he played over in the Euro League. He wasn't ready in NBA conditioning, so we saw a little bit more of Busy. And now he's kind of at this point right now where he's going to give Dario a few more of these opportunities to assist in kind of his conditioning, knowing that, again, this is game 15 of the season, and Bismack has shown that I can bring him in at any point, and I'm going to go ahead and like you said, 5 minutes, 3 blocks, 2 rebounds, gets a good day for Busy. So he's going to kind of deploy them at will. When you look at the way that the Utah Jazz play, I think that he felt like he had some sort of advantage, despite the fact that this is a very tall team, right? They have Kessler. Yeah. Kessler's like a 6-footer, right? So at times they had Kessler out there with Markkanen, with Olynyk. So, you know, it's kind of this twin tower thing, or 3 towers. Why does no one do that? Why is there always twin towers? Why can't somebody have like 3 towers? Got to see that somewhere. They probably have that in Dubai or some shit. But anyways, it's like in that situation, you're going to go with the quickness of Dario Saric over the stiffness that is Bismack Biyombo, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call, and when he comes in, it's like I'm excited, but also I just like it when he plays with Jock. I think he and Jock just grabbing the boards, and like, you don't want to mess with those two. If you come down there and the ball's fumbling around and you see Jock and Saric, I'll get the fuck out of there, dude.
Yeah,
like those guys are nuts trying to grab that ball. Like there's a few times down there where they show like a close up of them trying to grab the boards.
Quick,
not even a slow-mo. I'm like, dude, it's like a running back running through like the middle lineman. Like it's like insanely just constipated down there, but they find a way to get the ball. I don't know what's going on down there, but
yeah, it's
I didn't even explain it right.
It's a big mess, though. It's like a hornet's nest down there, and you go and get stung by one of those guys. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. You're right that we haven't seen Busy, but again, as Monty navigates the season, he's trying to pull all the right levers at the right time. And again, you're not going to play everybody every night, so it'll be interesting to see when Busy comes back. But you know what? I'm okay with him. I'm okay with him out there playing Dario Saric. What'd you think of that lady ref, man? I mean, there was 2 lady refs in this game, but there was that one who was fucking horrible, man. She was bad. The one who was on who was on like the north side of the TV.
Yep.
Like Josh Okogie, who a couple shout out to a couple Jamsters. You gave me some ideas. You DM me on Twitter at Darth Voida. Gave me some ideas for Josh Okogie. So when the time permits, I'll maybe put together a Josh Okogie drop. Just perhaps, unless you guys don't like the drops, maybe we'll just stop the drops altogether.
Just fucking stop, dude. Let's have 20-minute pods.
Yeah.
What's the point of doing this hour-long shit? No one shows up.
No one's unless they're clicking the like button, which I don't even know how many people have even clicked the like button. Matthew, any idea?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you subscribed yet? How have you not subscribed?
I've subscribed. Have you subscribed?
Nope.
I'm not asking you. I'm asking you. Watching the
nope.
pod right now. Have you subscribed? Help us out, guy.
Do it,
girl.
You got a big family? Spread the word.
Yeah, let all your family know. Thanksgiving's upcoming. Okay?
Yeah.
Let your family know to subscribe to the Suns Jam Session podcast. That was going to be a great promo that you could have snipped. It's like marry your cousin in the background. I don't think
my voice cracked too. Damn. It was even more.
Kiko says any drop for delivery. Yeah, he's got one. It's not delivery though. It's
today I met this cat. He said his name was Damien. He thinks that we're a lot alike and wants to be my friend.
He's my friend, Damien. He looked good. I don't know. How many points did he have? Did he just have that 3?
No, he had 6.
6, but three of those points were the only points that put the Suns ahead for like 10 seconds. It was great. Those were great 10 seconds. Thank you, so says Jay in the chat. He says, I'm going to say that during Thanksgiving prayer this year. Bless us, Father, for this food that we're about to eat with our family. And make sure that you all subscribe to the Suns Jam Session podcast on YouTube. Do it on YouTube and do it on all the pod forums, right? See what I did there? Pod forums.
Yeah. So the only thing with Lee is he's funny because I feel like he is just always ready for a technical. He'll be in the game for like 2 minutes and he'll throw his arms up over the littlest things and he'll go right to the ref. I swear he's gonna end. I think he might end the season maybe top 3 in technicals, and he won't even get like top 5 in minutes. Yeah,
in minutes?
I swear.
Well, technicals per minute played. Yeah, I can see that ratio.
Yeah,
it's like a per 36, but for technicals, your favorite.
Once it gets a little heated towards the end of the season, I just feel like these games will mean more, and he's gonna get a lot. Then he's just that guy. He's flared up unless he has his baby in his arms at the end of the game, which was so cute with him and Steph Curry. I'm like, oh, how cute.
I know. Their brother-in-laws. They said that.
I know.
They said it like 40 times during the broadcast.
Yeah.
It's rather kind of annoying. What other notes you got before I go to subreddit stakeout? I was writing the recap the whole time, so I didn't take notes.
Oh, you didn't take notes? Let me see. So
I'm only one man, dude.
Let's see. So people were talking about Bridges. I thought Bridges had a little bit of a difference, or he was a difference maker in this game for sure. I think in the first quarter. The warden. So you see it a lot where he can change a game pretty quickly. Like he had like the 4 points really quick in the first quarter. Or I'm sorry, he had a block that led to a score. I forget who scored that one, but then the next one he got a steal. Next possession he got the steal and he went down and dunked it.
Yeah,
you always see that from him. You always see that, and that always gets the team back in the game. That's huge. And those things that he can do. His defense is okay. The thing is, I'm not even going to talk about his defense anymore because he does come through at the end with big blocks when is needed. Him and DA did that tonight. And offensively, he's still hitting the threes. So I just think that's it.
Don't you wish like him and DA would adopt some sort of like defensive identity that they would embrace?
They're falling apart together. Together, they're having a hard time. I've never seen this because DA even last game was yelling at McHale, and then they're all yelling at DA today. But they're having a hard time figuring things out because guys are getting to the rim with like no one down there.
Oh yeah.
How is that possible?
Yeah, it's just like the switching that's happening. The communication just isn't there. And like you said, next thing you know, they're dunking. They're both looking at each other like, no, it's like the Spider-Man meme. You know, they're like, no, you.
Yeah.
Like, and it's interesting because again, these are guys that have played together, for the past 3 seasons, right?
One thinks they're getting traded though. One must be getting traded or something.
Yeah, but that's not going to affect them in like the third quarter in Utah. Like it's more of, I think that the Phoenix Suns, because of who they are and the continuity that they've had as a team with these players being starters together for the past 3-4 seasons, is scouting departments know some of their tendencies now. They're finding some opportunities, not consistently, but for possessions at a time, where they figured out if we run this set visually, we can run this set, we can run the set again. And then the next time we run it, because of the tendencies of these players on defense, we can do it. It's like when Mikal Bridges does that, fake, I'm going to post and then I'm just going to slip to the basket and it's a dunk for him kind of play.
Yeah.
Defenses are kind of doing the same thing every now and then to them. It's glaring to us as Suns fans because we see it all the time. We see how effective they can both be on defense. So when they have that lack of effectiveness and they're both kind of standing there looking at each other, you and I start looking at each other on this podcast and go, what the fuck happened, Matthew?
We just look at each other, don't say anything.
Yeah, we just have a glass eye about it.
Everyone is bringing up Jay now. It's so funny. After last game when we killed the Warriors, it's all about Jay, sitting there
Jay
in his room.
Now
Jay's
sitting
in his room being pissed off. But now it's like we need him. So we got to move past that. This team just has to be better defensively, and a lot of it is just communication. And the one 100%. Guy, it depends which personality he has out there, is DA. So you just have to focus him and Cam, or him and Mikal, and also Juice too. Like they were so entangled, and there was one time Juice got really upset at Washington Jr. down there because of switching. It's just a lot of the switching, like you said, is huge, but Juice is doing it too sometimes up at the perimeter. So there's a lot going on defensively where they got to figure that out because this team was too quick for them. It's really insane to say that.
That's a big thing. That's a good observation. It's probably the biggest reason why this team, one, they got in that big deficit earlier, but Jared Vanderbilt was too quick for him tonight. He just was. He was getting to everything. Jordan Clarkson, herky jerky, could be too quick for him. Kelly Olynyk was being too quick for DA at some points, and then Lauri Markkanen was as well. I mean, how many layups did we give up to Lauri Markkanen tonight on switches where they switched on to DA, and DA was just a step behind? I mean, it was just over and over again,
over and over,
over and over. Roger.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
So there I was, hanging out in Utah Jazz land, if you will, the Jazz subreddit on Reddit. So their first observation, and this is one I wanted to talk about with you. Please. The Suns jerseys are weird next to our purples. Yes. It was kind of hard to see tonight. Am I wrong or am I right on that?
No, you're totally right. I got confused a few times of who I was rooting for. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I'm serious. Like if I were like writing notes, I would look back up and there was like a fast break or something. And I'm like, oh, it's the Suns. It was small, but I would get confused a little bit just because they got the purple. And what sucks is like we have our 90s and they have their 90s, but they're both purple. So you can't wear them. But it would have made more sense for the Suns to wear the 90s if it was just like the white or maybe the black.
Mm-hmm. Well, it reminded me, it was like watching the throwback jerseys for the Arizona Diamondbacks. It was purple and teal out there. And I was just like, it wasn't a good color combination. A lot of people were saying, in the subreddit that the jerseys were too similar. And I think that, again, it really didn't affect the game overall, but the viewing experience was a little frustrating. And I had to watch the game on my laptop. I was streaming it, so I was behind on everything. So as I'm like tweeting things out, I'm getting texts from like Justin. He's like, dude, settle down, man. Like the Suns are only down 8. I'm like, well, I tweeted it when they were down 17. Okay. So
yeah.
I'm like,
I get it. You're in a group chat and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So there I was on the group chat. It was fun. You weren't there. So you wouldn't know about it. But because they're watching Enchanted 2 or whatever tonight. So
watches that movie all the time.
It just came out today.
Oh.
Yeah. 2. What do you think of those Jazz throwbacks though?
It's not bad. It's not bad. It just reminds you of the Karl Malone being a pedo a little bit. That's all I think of sometimes. So I mean, actually, all the time when I see those. So right away.
Well, I mean, obviously, it takes you back to the 90s. There was just that run of 90s jerseys that were very, very 90s. Yeah, very big, very like the big. Rockets, 3D. The Jazz, the Sonics, when they had the Sonic with the big, the Suns were part of that era. So
I
was
like
definitely,
those, though.
yeah, I liked him too. And I thought it was kind of cool. But again, I just thought it was weird. Like tonight could have been a night that they did this. The Suns didn't wear their city edition jerseys, and you know what they did. So here's one thing that was amazing on the subreddit. How much hate that they have for Colin Sexton. All right. Somebody put we had a 19-point lead, but Sexton threw it away. Sexton is a black hole on offense and a matador on defense. Fucking hell. And you look at it, like he had a -20 tonight. Okay, he was 5 of 10, 0 of 1 from beyond the arc. He had 3 fouls, 13 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists. And they were right. And like there was a moment to start the third in which Mike Conley got his 4th foul. And I was like, hell yeah, bring Sexton back in, because he's a guy who just takes off, right? Like he takes the whole offense out, and he just wants the ball all the time. And that's how he was in Cleveland too. That's why he didn't work, next to Darius Garland, because Darius Garland can be a point guard, but like it's having a little Kelly Oubre.
Dude, I was excited to see him play because he was coming off the bench. Obviously, first time in his career being the bench player. Mm-hmm. He's leading the team in bench points. Their bench is like scoring 40+ points a game, which is really good. So excited to see him. But then I'm like, whoa, this is really shitty play. Like all of a sudden, shitty shots, just ball bouncing off his leg. Like the Okogie play where Okogie took it away from him. Like that should have been a turnover. He just took away from him. But then he loses the ball in that situation. Sexton looks like he's in his own world playing out there. He doesn't look like Kelly Oubre. Exactly. It's kind of like he's just playing his own game. And if he gets hot, then he's excited for himself. Yeah. I can kind of see why a lot of players don't like him on the court. Maybe he's a good guy. He's a Capricorn. Maybe he's a good guy off the court, but he is.
Know that?
Because I look up, sometimes some nights I will be up for 2 hours looking at basketball players and their birthdays, trying to guess when they were born, what month. And I didn't know. I stumbled upon some random dudes like Colin Sexton. So I know he's a Capricorn for sure. Actually, I looked up because no one liked him. And I'm like, is it because he's a Capricorn? It's like, yeah, that's what it was. They're all assholes, dude. Capricorns are dicks. So anyway,
says Jay says you can come to the group chat too. No. And Luke Carter says, let's start our own group chat.
Send me a pic first. I want to see what that looks like.
Send me a pic first. Oh my God. That's why you're not in group chats. When you remember that moment when Devin Booker, it looked like he tweaked his knee.
Yes, it was bumped. He bumped it, right?
Yeah, he bumped his knee with Kelly Olynyk. Yeah. And somebody on the Jazz subreddit said, "Oh, Booker, come off it, you bullshitter." And then later, somebody said, "How the fuck do you stop Booker?" And then the last comment that I have from the subreddit, Booker reminded me that we may have a lot of really good players, but we don't have any stars. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your
The Suns Jam Session Subreddit Stakeout.
Yeah, the majority of me looking at their subreddit was them just dogging Colin Sexton. I mean, was.
Did you have that go in your head though when you were watching and writing the recap? Were you just thinking like, "Wow, Sexton's like really killing them out there"? Like he was our luck charm out there when he came in. We started playing really good.
Yeah, he was like Klay Thompson for the Warriors.
Yeah,
he's just a black hole on offense. You're like, sweet. I know when he gets the ball,
he's gonna try to get it going.
He's got to get it going, and like takes everybody out of the flow, and the Suns can take advantage of it. And then, boom. So, well, let's get into some jam starage.
Jam star of the game.
All right, Jamsters, a reminder, subscribe, rate, and review. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Stop by Oso. Get this lemon raspberry popsicle blonde. It's a nice tasting beer.
Are they sponsors now?
No, they're not. But Oso, if you want to be our sponsors, go for it.
Yeah, on losses we get only 2 views, but wins we're up there.
We're up to 5. It's awesome, and it's like cool 5 people. I think Devin Booker, Jamstar. What'd you say?
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Sometimes people I was watching this other podcast. They're like, Devin Booker overrated, underrated. They're like overrated. Last year, everyone was sucking his dick because they saying he was going to be MVP and all that. I'm like, dude, watch games like this. This shows you how good he is. Not just like shooting, but everything else he does on the court. He's so mature for his age right now.
Well, and again, I think that that's something that the Jazz fans notice in the subreddit. It's just like, dude, he's just so good, man. He's just so unstoppable. So, yeah, like it's like watching Randy Johnson when he used to pitch for the Diamondbacks. Like, appreciate greatness because we have a great star, a consistent star on our team. You have to love and appreciate that. So, next up for the Phoenix Suns, 1:30 p.m. start Arizona time on Sunday. Yay!
Right in time for our games, right? Cardinals play 2:00.
I don't give a shit. But go Cardinals, whatever. Cardinals, I'm so mad at the Cardinals, dude. They're so.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? Like, your team's good, man. Like Cliff Kingsbury drives me nuts. Kyler Murray's a big fucking baby. DeAndre Hopkins is a beast. JJ Watt's a great motivator, but like we can't just put anything together. Oh yeah, Jeff F is right. Cardinals play on Monday.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, they play on Monday night.
Cowboys play at 2, so
in Mexico. So. We'll be double doing that. It all comes down to the Bengals-Steelers game for me this weekend, man. That's the only game I give a shit about.
If they win, and you might win all that money this weekend.
No, they gotta win. They gotta win.
I know, but like I didn't want to choose the Ravens because I was like, I can see Carolina.
Did you choose the Commodores, the Commanders, whatever?
No, I chose the Ravens.
So you went with the Ravens. That's right.
I had to. Well, it's. I mean, they're up. What are they? -13 or whatever. So to win.
Oof. Well, so says Jay says he's going to be at a girls' lacrosse tournament. And I'll tell you this, if you listen to the most recent podcast of Fan of the Flames and you decide to show up to a lacrosse tournament simply to kill him based off of a Twitter post that like you earned it because he'll take a picture of the field and say, hey, it's game day. And his wife gets all frustrated at him. She's like, what are you doing? Some people hate you on Twitter. They're going to find you. And he's like, hey, if they do, good on them. Like that's
on that field. Yeah. That field.
Yeah. They're hold on. Next to... like, I know those power lines. So says Jay is near. I must find him.
I live next to like 20 of those fields. So maybe he's right by me.
He might be. He might be. So, but yeah, they play the Knicks coming home. Mm-hmm. I think this is a win. I think this is an easy win. The Knicks are discombobulated. The Phoenix Suns play well at home. They'll once again be wearing their City Edition jerseys. This will be the 3rd out of 4 games because on Tuesday night when we play the Lakers, they will be wearing these jerseys as well. But the same stuff, I think that the way that the Knicks are playing, again, discombobulated. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Thibodeau doesn't make it through the season there.
No, Thibodeau is such a good first season head coach, and then all of a sudden, like he works them too hard or something, where they're all like he thinks they're all Devin Bookers, where they actually want to play basketball, and he's out of there. He'll be out of there soon, and it sucks because New York had a good run. I think it was a year ago. Last year they kind of fell apart again. So
yeah, they had one good run where they got like the 5 seed.
He never lasts through 3 years. I don't think I have to look that up, but I swear it's like the 3rd and 2nd year. Like he always his teams like just get burnt out from him.
All right, so B's in the chat. Randall to the Suns. Yay or nay, chat? What do you guys think? Randall to the Suns.
That's a weird one.
What do you think?
Randall, when motivated on a team where he gets what he wants, really fucking like an all-star player. But
so put him next to DeAndre Ayton.
I don't like it now. I used to like 10 years ago. I do like the fact that if he were to come here, the environment's perfect for him. I think it would be a good environment for him. He'd be a good locker room guy. It's just when things start to go really badly in a situation on the team he's on, he feeds off of that so much, and then he just makes it worse in a way. So he's a hard guy to watch or keep.
He is, man.
Keep motivated. Maybe
he's inconsistent. Again, he had that one great year and he got rewarded for it. He's on year 1 of a 4-year, $117 million contract with the Knicks, $23 million a year. It'll be 25.6 the next, 27.5 the next, and a player option 29.4 in 2025-26. I don't like it. I don't. I think that he kills some of your spacing. Like you said, he's one of those guys. It's like if you're driven crazy by the amount of effort that DeAndre Ayton gives, imagine that, but DA shoots like 4 threes a game. And you're just like, come on, man. Like, I don't know. Ozzy says he's like, it's basically Jay Crowder all over again, but not as good on defense, I think.
Yeah, and I saw tonight, as my voice cracks one more time, I was thinking there's one dude. Okay, yeah, here he is. Jaren Jackson Jr. comes back. And he already put up like a 24 and 10 game tonight. I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm just saying, like, I always think about these guys in that draft that come back and are better than Ayton. And that was always one guy that was talked about that might be better than Ayton. And he's all of a sudden he's already going to put up numbers, but he does get hurt all the time.
Yeah,
I know, but I always get worried about that. So I was thinking about that. But Randall could put up big numbers, but on a winning team, I just don't think he can help a winning team. He's good on those mediocre, shitty teams.
Yeah, Mario Lopez, Randall's averaging 21-9. And he's also like one of their prime, it's Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are their first and second offensive options with RJ Barrett as well. So it's like, here he would become a tertiary or a fourth option for the team. And, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I don't know. We need to be healthy. I guess we could talk about it a little bit before we get out of here. But obviously, all these rumors are happening around Jay Crowder, right? Like he almost got traded right before the game, but I guess that they couldn't trade him because the game started. It was Eric Gordon, and then the John Collins thing today. I'm a no on John Collins. I don't know what anyone in the chat thinks, but I'm a huge no on John Collins. His usage rate has dropped there. He's a 0 on defense. He's great offensive. He's got some really good offensive capabilities, but a lot of his offensive capabilities through his career have been highlighted by the fact that he's got Trae Young lobbing the ball. And good, bad, or indifferent, Trae Young is a plus point guard who's going to find you and put you in good situations as an offensive scorer. Not to say Chris Paul isn't, but Chris Paul is he's got old saggy balls. And you got Cameron Payne, that's not his forte. John Collins would be a very, very expensive person to bring into here. You'd have to give up something that you'd like probably to do it. And I don't think that you'd get the same offensive production that you're expecting. And you definitely would have a challenge with him on defense.
Yeah, I think about a lot of these players, like even him. Like, so you want the player to give you a chance. As soon as the Suns drop the trade, that's either this one or the one for Markkanen. Markkanen might still be a guy. Who knows? Because that team, they lost 3 in a row until tonight. They're not going to keep this up. They're not.
Yeah, but they want to trade. They want to trade it to the Suns. They want to trade it to a team that's going to give them a better asset in return. The Suns' first round pick doesn't look so great.
But even if you switch like Collins, if he's there offensively, it's a great addition. If he's playing next to Ayton, that's great. It would be fine. But I don't see any of these additions being like, oh, if we get him, it's championship. We're going to be in the finals. We have to have that guy. And the only 2 guys, the only 3 guys that we can get where if we see it happen, it's like, oh, this is a finals contender. It'd be SGA, but you can't give up Mikal.
But you won't get him. But you'd have to give up Mikal.
You can't. Yeah, I know. But you can give up DeAndre. You can give up Ayton for him, right? Would you give up Ayton for SGA?
For SGA? I'd take a shot at it.
The guy that we could have had Luka and fucking SGA from that draft. Never mind. Don't want to go there. So there's 3 guys. SGA, of course, Kevin Durant, and then LeBron James. I know a lot of people hate the LeBron James thing. He's fucking old and stuff, but if you can get him and keep one of those 3 guys, Cameron Johnson, even though he's hurt, if he can come back and be decent, and if you can get Mikal, keep Mikal or keep Ayton, even though Ayton plays like shit, he's held accountable. He'll play good defense. If we get one of those 3 guys, then that's championship contender.
Yeah, you move into that elite conversation where it's like
nobody else.
You are a championship contender. Now you take a look around the league this year. Like, who really are your championship contenders? There's no team out there outside of Milwaukee, who is still sans Chris Middleton, who you're like, yeah, this is a championship contender. So there's a lot of opportunity out there to kind of hit that. But can you make it happen? Can James Jones make it happen, or is he continue going to focus on fringe things to try to kind of soften the edges? And again, I mean, this team's, I said at the beginning of the season, this is going to be highs and lows throughout this season, man. Like, this isn't a dominant force of a team. It just isn't. Yeah. And Suns Geek said, and shout out to Suns Geek, if it has to do with the Phoenix Suns, he's going to make us a video about it. So the NBA is wide open this year. And to your point, Matthew, like, that's why the opportunity exists. So if you could take advantage of something, you got to try to go get it, Suns. Please, God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, we've had our opportunities. So if we look at this in 3 years, we can look at this year as like not a waste, but maybe this year is like, hey, we're not going to contend this year. We're going to be okay in the playoffs, but we're not going to win it. We're not going to win it because we can't get the guys we want. So maybe we have to wait till next year. And it sucks to hear, but maybe this is just one of those years, like you predicted, the 49 wins. Maybe it's turning into one of those years where it's just like, this is who we have. We're going to have to play it out. And you see Flex on Twitter where he talks about there's some trade, and he sees all these things about John Collins and like all these rumors. It's like, no, don't listen. These are green screen or whatever, smoke screens, green screens. They're all smoke screens. I have a green screen. They're all smoke screens for the big thing. So maybe the big thing is after the trade deadline, or right before the trade deadline, or right and maybe this summer. I don't know, but it might not be this year where the Suns are contenders. That's what I think.
I think you're right.
And it sucks, but we still have a chance. We have a chance, but
yeah, we have Devin Booker.
No. Yeah,
you got Devin Booker. You got a chance, man.
Booker's a number 4 on a really good team. I'm just kidding. He's a contortiary, whatever you say.
Contortiary. Well, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you hanging out with us for another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. Everyone who's been in the chat firing off, we love you. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button while you're here. Make sure you subscribe as well. If you're listening, please do the same. We'll be coming to you live on Sunday kind of afternoon after the Suns play the Knicks, hopefully talking about a dub on that game. And then it's an interesting week. It'll be an interesting week of podcasts as we enter Thanksgiving week. 2 games next week, the Lakers, and then we play somebody on Friday. Who do we play on Friday, Matthew?
Not sure.
Shit.
Jamsters always know.
Yeah.
They always know more than us.
Might be the Jazz again. I don't know. But that being said, again, thanks for hanging out. Make sure you have a fantastic evening. Follow me on Twitter at Darth Voida. You can go read my sad recap of this game on Bright Side of the Sun, where I even say it. And I'm like, this is bullshit. So please do that. Make sure you follow the show at Suns Jam on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You can follow Matthew.
Anything
Anything else?
That's it. Go home, love your family.